And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson.
100% agree.
And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for another edition of the Weighing In podcast. We are back, and it is our midweek show, and we're here to talk about the big-time Bellator coming up on April 2nd. Patricio Pitbull Ferreira against Emmanuel El Matador Sanchez for the featherweight strap and the right to face AJ Mckee in the featherweight Grand Prix finals. We have got a lot to talk about when it comes to Bellator. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to the UFC. If you have been listening to us, we thank you for coming back to us and listening again. And if you are a new subscriber, be sure that you ring that bell up there. Tell everyone that you have now found the greatest MMA podcast in the world, and you get to listen to the real punk, Josh Thompson, who's coming up right now.
Crowd goes wild. Go ahead, let me introduce Podcast Day. Podcast Day. Boo, boo.
Oh, man. See? No boost.
I love it. Boo. No. And our man right here, the man, the myth, the legend, Big John McCarthy. The crowd.
Ugly as ever.
I love it. All right, well, hey, let's jump right into this main event. I think the Emmanuel Sanchez and Patricio Pitbull. You guys, I will continue to say this. Patricio Pitbull right now is the best featherweight in the world. You guys can tell me Max Holloway. You guys can tell me whoever else.
Volkanovski, Brian Ortega.
Yeah, you guys don't normally come to me with Max, but the problem is Max not even the best in his own company. Okay, so we got to bypass that. Don't get me wrong, Max is a stud, and if he fought the way he fought his last fight, like
nobody beats him.
Nobody beats him, and I can say that we can agree on that, Big John, you and I.
I'm the first one to say it.
Yeah, nobody beats him, but like Volkanovski said, he doesn't look like that in front of me. So styles make matchups. It's true, right? Max didn't look like that in front of him, and they fought twice. Don't get me wrong, I thought Max won one of them.
The second one?
It was close in the first one was close. The second one I thought Max won, didn't win. But overall, to me, Patricio stylistically is a very good matchup against Volkanovski. But let's talk about Emmanuel Sanchez. This fight to me is round 6.
Well, it is round 6.
Round 6. They went 5 rounds before. Emmanuel started coming on in the 4th and the 5th, started laying some heavy leather, started putting some combinations, everything together, making Patricio fight a fight that he was uncomfortable with. But since then, Patricio has matured as a fighter. Patricio he seemed like he's developed a better fight IQ. Now, I don't know if that's because of all the work that he's done with guys like Eric Alberson and Henry Cejudo and just gathering his team at the Pitbull Brothers gym there in the location. He's got a lot of top guys that have gotten a lot better. Higo's gotten better. Some other guys that are out of there, they're all getting a lot better. So something's going on in that camp that's really got fighters fighting at a better fight IQ. He has just matured. I think he's, come into his own, and he's really matured. I don't know, outside of Emmanuel just putting such a pace and making him feel uncomfortable, but that to me puts Emmanuel in a lot of danger. When you have someone, and we saw last weekend with Stipe and Ngannou, when the person who's normally in control is able to fight or has the power, is able to fight at a composed pace, it's dangerous. And we saw that with Ngannou, and we've seen that several times with Patricio. If he can stay in his composed pace and composed temper, okay, keep his temper under control, where he just likes to stand in front of an exchange, where if he can just keep that pace and keep that distance and that range, the way he has his stance, his bouncing in and out, making sure that he's not overcommitting on things, his speed and his power together, he's nasty good. But Emmanuel Sanchez is really good as well.
Emmanuel Sanchez is a stud. Let's just get this straight. You're talking about a guy who mentally is as strong as you will find in the fight game. He has got zero quit. He will die before he ever gives in. He's never been stopped in a fight. He's lost by decision, lost to Pitbull by decision. But you look at you're going into that 5th round of that fight, and you're right about one thing here. That fight was decided by power. It was the power shots that Pitbull was able to land that at times hurt Sanchez and made him have to recover. And the judges seeing that was the big difference in that fight. He's got to avoid allowing that power to have an impact in this fight like it did in their first matchup. But he's a different fighter too. I will give it to Pitbull. Pitbull is better now than he was even when he fought Sanchez then. And it is based upon, here's a guy that's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got a chip on his shoulder for a lot of things. All right. He doesn't believe he gets the respect that he deserves. He's always calling out people saying, I'll fight anybody, and he will. And you got to love that about Pitbull. But when he's outside of the cage, he's very volatile. And it used to be when he went into the cage, he carried that same mentality, that same volatility, and that sometimes worked against him because he wouldn't do smart things. Now he is fighting within himself. He waits, he controls the position of the fight, and he makes you come to him. And when he decides he's going to do something, that's when he explodes, and he's got incredible power. But Sanchez does have the ability, Josh, you know it, to carry this fight at a pace that could make Pitbull become gas, make him tired. It's not that Pitbull's not in shape. He is. But anytime you are running your car at an RPM that is too much for it, and it's running in the red zone for too long, it starts to have problems, and it starts to sputter. And that's what Emmanuel Sanchez can do in this fight. He can push this pace, but he's got to be careful, because by pushing the pace, you've got to put yourself into positions where Pitbull can unleash that power like you're talking about with Francis Ngannou and his victory against Stipe. Anytime you're fighting a guy that can hit that hard, they can put you out. You know it, and you go, okay, it can happen, but he's got to make it happen because I'm going to go after him. And I think that's what we're going to see with Emmanuel Sanchez.
Patricio's an F1 or Formula One car. That guy can run all damn day if he wants. I mean, yeah, look, when guys are fast, they hit hard and explosive like Patricio is, they do tend to kind of slow down as the fight goes on. But the one thing that he didn't do as well in the first fight that I think he's going to do a lot better this fight is wrestle. He's gotten so much better in wrestling from working with Henry Cejudo and other top guys in wrestling, as Eric Albertson, working with them as well, getting better on the mat and on control. And I've had, like I've said several times, I've had an opportunity to grapple with him, and he's a stump. He's hard to move. His legs are strong. He's got a couple good sweeps from the bottom to get to the top position. He does a lot of it from trying to snap the head into that arm and guillotine. Remember, he's not tall. So I've trained with a lot of guys like him, Justin Wilcox. If they get on your head, even when they're on their butt, they just stand right up with you because they don't have very far to go. And he's flexible enough to tuck his heels up underneath his butt and stand up. And we know if he gets on that head and arm, even from the seated position, he'll either sit back into you and finish the arm and guillotine, or he'll stand up and then maybe re-jump it as he adjusts, or he'll make space and try to land the knockout punch. He's got all the tools. I really feel like what he's going to do is he's going to stop Emmanuel Sanchez from putting too much pressure by taking him down. He's going to control that top position. He knows that the submission threat is there by Emmanuel because Emmanuel Sanchez's grappling has gotten really good. But he was good off of his back from before when they first fought. So he has to stay out of the guard. But his game now, I think, under Lovato Jr. will be a little bit more of the half guard game. Get back to your feet. Try to get back up as fast as you can to be able to keep pushing that pace on the feet. Versus before, it was more like, let's hang out in guard and let's try and hit arm bars and triangles and all those things. I think if his jiu-jitsu game has changed a little bit, like we have seen with Lovato Jr.'s game, where it's the half guard, Lucas Leite kind of half guard sweep, get back to your feet, or sweep you all the way through to stay on top position. That could be very dangerous against Patricio.
No, it can, but you've got to look and say, how do I win this fight? And if you're Sanchez, you go, I got to be in his grill. I got to force him into my type of fight. I've looked at what he's done since we fought, and you can go back and look at the list and the people he's fought, and everything that he's done has been that he started to become more controlling, less aggressive, actually waiting in the center, taking the center of the cage. Now, look, he knocked out Chandler, since that time. He's knocked out Pedro Carvalho in that time. He went the distance with Archuleta, but dominated the fight. But all of them, he grabbed the center of the cage and said, come to me. And as you come to me, that's when I'm going to do my thing. And that's what happened with the Chandler fight. That's what happened the entire time with Archuleta. He has got to be in the mindset, I've got to push this guy out of his comfort zone. If he's comfortable in the fight, he's usually winning the fight.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think he has learned so much over the years. I mean, he doesn't need to go chasing after someone to get a fight. Emmanuel Sanchez is going to bring that fight to him. He'll be right there to fight. But him trying to push too much of the pace is going to make it easier for Patricio to get the takedowns.
Well, it can lead to mistakes.
Yeah. And if he leaves himself open in a big counter, it could be lights out or it can be an easy takedown. And an easy takedown means you're losing minute by minute on the ground. Look, I'm not saying Emmanuel Sanchez doesn't have a chance. I think he does. I think he has a great chance.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of AJ Mckee, there was nobody else in this tournament that I thought was going to beat him, that was going to beat Patricio. Except for Emmanuel Sanchez, he'd be the only other person I would say that would give him a run for his money. I mean, it really just comes down to, can Emmanuel implement his game plan without leaving himself exposed too much to be either being taken down or knocked out? And I think he can. He's just got to stay composed like he did with Daniel Weichel. What a great fight that was. And then with Patricio, he's got to make sure that he switches that mentality of like, I've already beat this guy. Because I really believe Emmanuel Sanchez is going to come in thinking this is just round 6. We never finished the first fight. We're still on. And so he's just going to jump right into it and understanding that I've already been hit by you. It's nothing I haven't seen before. And he's going to just jump right into it. Let's go. So it's up to Patricio to stay composed, fight at a good pace, control the distance, make him respect you with big shots, and get the easy takedowns. Don't fight too hard for him. Get easy takedowns and control the top position.
There are going to be no easy takedowns.
None. It will be easy for me. I just think his level of wrestling's gotten so much better since working with Henry Cejudo.
It has. There's no doubt it's improved a lot. And he's very comfortable in a lot of areas, and he's very confident in his guillotine attack, his arm in guillotine. He'll jump to it. If he grabs your neck and he gets his arm set where he wants it, he'll jump to guard, knowing you're not going to pull your head out. I'm going to squeeze it to the point you're going to go unconscious. So he's got a ton of weapons. That's why he is, as you say, one of the best featherweights in the world. And at this moment, maybe the very best.
He was the best right now. Right now.
I just said that.
Okay. Usman Nurmagomedov, Khabib's cousin, is fighting Mike Hamill.
I love Mike Hamill. Mike Hamill's a gamer. He is a tough country boy. I think he's from Wisconsin originally, but lives in Arizona now. But man, he's just balls tough. He's just going against a guy who's really skilled. I will tell you, man, Usman, I've been watching all of his fights. He loves the stand-up game. He loves to pick you apart on the feet. But when he decides, because usually it's not that he takes you down, he knocks you down, and then he decides, okay, I'll go to the ground with you, and he's super heavy on top, and he does just beautiful hip in, hard positioning. He postures, he brings down big, heavy shots, and he ends fights. He's undefeated. He's freaking unbelievable. I think 7 KOs. He's gone to decision one time in his entire career. So he is the real deal. He's good, and Mike Hamill is going to have his hands full. But Mike Hamill came in on a 1-week notice, fought Adam Borch, and fought him incredibly well, put in a hell of a performance. So just going off of that, I expect big things out of Hamill. I'm not saying he's the favorite to win this fight. He's not. Usman is definitely the guy I would pick to win it, but Hamill's going to give him everything that Usman can handle.
When Mike Hamill fought Adam Borch, I was like, oh, Adam's tough. And then I started watching the fight. I was like, wow, Hamill's having some success with a lot of good stuff. But the difference is that Adam Borch is not Usman. There is a huge size discrepancy. Like, Usman's a big guy. If you put Usman next to the other Kamaru Usman, Usman Nurmagomedov is the same size, if not a little bit better, or not bigger. I mean,
Bigger.
and different weight classes. One's at 155 and one's at 170. So when you're comparing the two, it's like Adam Boris is not that big. I mean, he's tall, he's long for 145. He is, but he's not a 170 pounder. Like Usman could potentially be a 170 pounder. And so Mike Hamill, he's got his hands full. He's got his hands full.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Well, yeah, this is Usman's Bellator debut. He's coming in with, a lot. If you're just carrying the name of Nurmagomedov now in MMA, is not an easy thing to do based upon the performance of not just one guy. Now everybody that's got that name that's associated being a brother or cousin or someone. You got Umar, you got Usman. They're both undefeated, 13-0, 11-0. Khabib was 29-0. So not an easy. It's kind of like it's almost become the new Gracie as far as with MMA. You got the name Nurmagomedov. People are going, who am I fighting? Just the name. They're going, I'm not too sure about that one. Yeah. So it's going to be it'll be interesting. It'll really be interesting to see how Usman handles the pressure of coming into a new promotion, being under the lights, being with, Showtime and everything. I don't think it'll affect him at all, but sometimes it does, and we'll see.
Do you think the no crowd will make it easier?
I think it makes it just incredibly, for a first-time guy, so much easier. When you're going into that promotion and this is your first time in that promotion and there's no crowd, I think it makes your life so much easier.
Do you think it makes it easier when you're winning? Yes. Do you think when you're losing and you can hear the announcers saying that you're not winning? What does that make? That's going to make more.
No, everything. You can hear your coaches. You don't have the crowd, which sometimes, and even as a fighter that was very mature in what you did, but there were times when you heard the crowd and you heard them boo or something like that. You're thinking to yourself, what the fuck, man? What do you want from me? It can get in your head. And as a young fighter coming into a new promotion, you want to put on a show. You want to be, very exciting. You want to have that, spectacular finish. You want people to talk about you. It's great to have the crowd when you're doing those things, but when it's not that way, it's nice to just ease into that new promotion, come in, just fight your fight, and then say, I've been there, done that, and now I go on to the next.
Yeah, I don't think the guys with that last name, though, have a hard time adjusting to crowds and energy and silence and training. I think it's just something that they do on a daily basis that just makes them, they just come in, get their work done, and go back to their life.
Yeah.
That's the feeling and vibe I've always gotten from being around them. Naaman Gracie and Jason Jackson. To me, this is going to be one of the most exciting fights of the night outside of the Patricio and Emmanuel Sanchez fight.
This is one that I look at. Yeah, you look and say, well, if it's on the feet, Jason Jackson has the advantage. If it's on the ground, Naaman Gracie has the advantage. Jason Jackson is just such a good guy. I mean, he does everything right when you look at the way he lives his life. This guy works his ass off. He's got all these different jobs. He's got different companies. He's, always talking, man, I got to feed my kids, man. I got to work. He's always at the gym. He never takes time off. And anytime they ask him to fight, his only answer is yes. He will fight anybody, anywhere. I love Jason Jackson. I think he's just a hell of a fighter. In the stand-up, he's good. He's long. He's rangy. And you look at his last fight was against Jordan Mean. I love Jordan. I've known him for a long time, and Jordan is a good fighter. And Jason pieced him up.
He fought Benson last, John.
What's that?
Fought Benson Henderson last.
Oh, that's right. He came back and fought Benson quick. But so he's Jordan Mean and then Benson Henderson, man. And you're looking, you go, he's just getting better and better. And you fought Benson. Benson is a guy that it's hard to look good against him. Yeah. Because he does everything well. And he doesn't give you a lot of looks and things. Jason looked good against him. He won every round of that fight. So I just look at Jason Jackson. He's fun to watch. He's exciting in the stand-up. He just needs to stay off of his back against Naaman Gracie. He ends up on his back, then he's going to have problems.
Yeah, he's also got to make sure that he has Naaman Gracie's back to the fence.
Yeah.
If he has his back to the fence, and Naaman's very, very good at getting the double unders or the underhooks and the over under, and they kind of tripping you down and getting you down.
Yeah, he goes to a body lock a lot.
Yeah, he does. He's not a traditional like shoot a double leg. He's not that guy. He'll punch his way into the clinch and try and outside trip you, or he'll try and like just kind of tilt you a little bit and drag you down. He'll do whatever it takes to get you to the ground. But he's not the traditional like wrestling style. He's that Gracie style of like takedown. It's not unless you're gonna pull to his butt. He doesn't do that either though. But I would say honestly, he's the one kind of holding the Gracie name up right now in the whole sport. I mean, he's so talented, so good. His one loss is to Rory McDonald. He's looked absolutely phenomenal since losing to Roy. He's also was looking great up until then. But that was a big fight in his career for him to realize, I think, that, hey, I'm really good at this. And like realistically, like it comes down to young fighters like himself. I mean, I know that he's 32 years old, but he's still young in the sport. And so at 32, he's probably thinking like up until the Rory fight, like, okay, am I good or am I not? And then he fights Rory McDonald and has a great fight against him. He doesn't get the win, but okay, look, I can do this. Yeah. That's all it takes sometimes for young fighters and that are young in their career to go, I can get this done. I can do that. All I got to do is just spend a little bit more time focusing on this, and this, and I could end up being champion. And so I'm excited for him because this is a big fight. And I think the winner of this will probably get the winner of Lima and Amosov. I believe Amosov is getting the next title shot, being 25 or 26-0. I think he's 25-0. 25-0 now. I think he might be next in line for a title shot. So the winner of this will probably get the winner of that title shot whenever that fight gets booked and scheduled. But absolutely phenomenal fight. I'm excited. This fight has me pumped.
Yeah, I believe that Naaman Gracie has. I don't want to say Chrome Gracie is unbelievable on the ground.
Yeah,
but MMA style of jiu-jitsu, Naaman is as good as anybody. He is good with leg locks. He's got serious chokes. When we're talking, his rear naked is good. His arm triangle is good. He's just, when he gets the top position, you go, this is not going to be good for his opponent. He finishes people. He is that guy that, it's not that, his jiu-jitsu doesn't transfer over. It transfers over so well, and he's so dangerous there. He's such a good guy, man. He's just fun to be around. He's just happy to be a fighter, and you got to love when a guy is just, I just love doing what I do.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep, very true. Is there any other fights on this card? Look, I want everyone to understand when we get done talking about this card, there's 3 fights, 3 Friday nights in a row that Bellator's on. And I'm just going to ask you guys, if you guys have never watched Bellator, you guys that don't watch any other MMA, this will be the 3 cards that you guys should really jump into. And especially the one on May 7th, because we're going to talk later, is that the Rumble and Yoel fight got pushed to that. I think one of them got sick or got the flu or something like that. So they had to push it back just to make sure that it was a fair fight. No one, make sure everyone was recovered and had a full camp. So, but
the best thing for everyone, tune into Bellator on Showtime. All you got to do is turn to the Showtime channel. I know it's a premium channel. I know you have to pay for it. You don't. They're going to give it to you. All of a sudden, your TV is going to work on Showtime, and you can watch the fights for free.
Yeah, so give it a try. I know we sit here and talk about these fighters, and you guys continue to say like, hey, Bellator this, Bellator that, UFC this, UFC that. But we've talked about this for the longest time. Michael Chandler had success in UFC. He was one of the better fighters in Bellator history, and he'll probably end up being the UFC champion. And so we wanted to let everybody know that there's not much of a difference between the top guys in Bellator and the top guys in the UFC. They just have more of them because they have a way bigger roster. So if you guys are into MMA, if you guys are into watching fights, like this is the first, I would say these next 4 fights, but this next 3 weeks, give them a chance, man. Give them an opportunity. Sit down and watch the main cards. And there's going to be some good prelim fights as well. Like I'll give you an example. CJ Hamilton and Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov is the only fighter to beat Peter Yan outside of Aljo now after the legal knee. But up until then, he was the only guy to beat him. But he was also the only guy that Magomed lost to was Peter Yan. So they are 1-1. So seeing how good that Peter Yan is, Magomed also is the guy that has the 1 win over him. Other guys on this card that are very good, Tyrell Fortune absolutely phenomenal wrestler, good stand-up, good boxing. Roger Huerta is actually back. I know that he's older, hasn't got a win in a while, but he is also back. Mandel Naaman is very explosive.
But Roger Huerta is going against Chris Gonzalez. Chris Gonzalez from the national team of Greco-Roman wrestling, and has really turned into. He's been training at Team Alpha Male. He's turned into a hell of an MMA fighter. His last fight against Tokov was good. So he's a guy. He's on the rise. Roger's got his hands full. Unfortunately, Roger in this position might kind of be the gatekeeper.
Yeah, the problem is Chris Gonzalez, when he fought Tokov, I was trying to explain the wrestling takedowns in transition, and they were happening so fast, I couldn't get them out of my mouth fast enough. It was like, yeah, he went for the single. Oh, he fit the double. Then he goes,
he switched. He chained everything together back and forth.
It was some of the best wrestling in a fight I've ever seen. It was awesome. Absolutely great stuff, man. So you've got Alejandra Lara also fighting Kana Watanabe. So the Kana is her first fight in Bellator history.
Second, actually. Come on. She wasn't a Bellator fighter, but she fought in the Bellator show against Joanny.
Yeah.
The one that we had in Japan. So this is her actual second fight in Bellator, but her first fight as a Bellator fighter. But we're talking about, an Olympic judo player. She is strong, Josh. Physically, she is strong. If she gets this fight to the ground, is on top, she is going to be mauling Lara in that position.
We'll see.
If
Lara's on top, not a good idea.
I didn't say that's different.
So, good stuff, man. Like I said, these next 3 cards, and then 4 now that Yoel Romero and Anthony Johnson got pumped out to May. These next 4 cards, man, they're stacked. So if you guys are into MMA and you guys really are looking outside of just the UFC, these are the 4 cards to watch. If you guys don't like it after that, okay, fine. I get it. I understand. Whatever. You guys gave it a try, but give it an honest try, man. These fights and these cards that are coming up are absolutely phenomenal.
It is a sport called MMA. I'm going to tell you right now, I love what the UFC did in marketing themselves to where people think the UFC is the sport. They're not. Just being as honest as I can be, it's the sport of MMA, and there are unbelievable fighters everywhere that are not in the UFC right now. They can't have them all. It's impossible.
All right, well, let's get into the rankings, please. Let's go. Podcast.
I don't know if I want to go on these. I'm going to get in trouble.
John, we're here.
Yes.
We're here to tell the truth and speak our minds.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah.
Got it. I've said that before.
Do you know what media decided these?
I think it's all anonymous, right? We're not really.
It's media. All right. So what are we doing? Men, are we doing the men's pound for pound, or are we going to go through the weight classes first?
Let's go. You want to do pound for pound at the end?
Yeah, I would say pound for pound is at the end. Come on.
Let's scroll up to the men's one. What was that? 125? Yeah. Or 135?
Yes.
Right there. 135. All right. So Juan obviously being the champ, he'll be champion status. And then number 1 be Sergio Pettis because he is fighting him next for the title.
Okay.
You disagree with any of those?
Absolutely, I disagree with.
All right.
Let's just be honest. If you're gonna say Juan Archuleta the champion, he's number 1. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. You're gonna say Sergio Pettis number 1. Got it. That makes sense. He's the challenger coming up. The next, when you look at who's the best out of all these guys, if they matched up, the hardest fight in there is Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
I have watched him fight. I've reffed him. He is a monster. He should be number 2. Just telling you.
So I go back because we're going to get in, like, Corey Anderson's ranked high as well in one of these. I'm like, with one fight in Bellator, do you base it off of?
I don't care how many fights you've had in a promotion. Michael Chandler has had 1 fight in the UFC, and he's going to fight for the title. Is that right or is it wrong? It's right.
That's right.
Okay. So then why is it that if you've had 1 fight that you can't be ranked a little higher? Bullshit. It's how good are you? How good of a fighter are you? That's where your ranking should be.
I got you. No, I'm just asking because I know people at home are going to ask the same questions that I'm asking you right now. I'm playing devil's advocate right now just to basically for all the people, because I actually got a DM from a couple people saying, "Hey, would you guys be offended if I sent in questions that maybe seem stupid and dumb?" I'm like, no, just send them in. Like, so when it came down to why would these guys be ranked, why aren't they ranked higher? Because I felt like, well, maybe because they only had one fight. No, they should be ranked higher. If you're talking their actual credentials, Coriano should be ranked higher. Nurmagomedov should be ranked higher. If you talk about the credentials and their abilities, they should be higher. Michael Chandler being ranked as high as he is after the Hooker thing and fighting for the title. It's because of the credentials of it all, of his career. You look in the past of what he's done and you put him up there. The same thing with this guy, Nurmagomedov. You put him up there. He should be number 2. And I would put Patchy Mix number 3, Stotts 4.
I love Patchy Mix, and I love Rafael Stotts. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch because he's good everywhere. But you got to be honest and say, man, this is not about how many times you fought in the UFC or you fought in Bellator. This is about how good of a fighter are you and where do you belong on this list? And right now, if as simple as it gets, if they put Nurmagomedov in a fight against Patchy Mix, who's number 2 right now, who do you believe is the favorite in that fight?
Oh, I would think it would be Nurmagomedov.
Then why would Patchy Mix be the guy that right now is ahead of him? It just doesn't. That's what you're looking saying. That's the guy that would be the favorite in the fight. That means that you're saying that he's probably going to win that fight. Now, it doesn't mean that he will. Patchy could beat him. But right now you're looking saying that. Why would he be 5? No, he shouldn't be 5. He should be above it.
That's
just being honest.
See the most though is Patchy and him because Patchy's grappling and the size of Patchy Mix and this, and long, lanky Nurmagomedov, like I would like to see that fight happen.
So would I. But we get to see James Gallagher and Patchy Mix, which I think is going to be a fun fight to watch, especially with the way they both compete on the ground. And they're just different, but they're going to match up really well.
They both talk shit.
Oh, they both talk shit. Beautiful.
Yeah, so that would be our one change in that division there. Let's go to featherweight.
No, that's not my one change.
Oh, what else you got?
Okay, the other one I'm going to change is I like where Josh Hill and Leandro Higo, all that stuff. Jornel Lugo at 5-0. He's good. He's really good. He's better than 10, but he's going to prove that, and he's got time to prove it because he's a young fighter, but he belongs higher.
So where at, though?
I would say I would put Jornel Lugo right now probably at number 8.
Above Caspell or below Caspell?
Above Caspell. He would be 8. I would move Caspell down to 9, and Franz would be down at number 10.
Got it. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay.
Behind that.
All right, let's go to the next. I feel better.
Glad you got the approval from Josh Thompson. Patricio is at champ. AJ Mckee number 1. Emmanuel Sanchez number 2. Adam Boric number 3. Those 3 for sure all deserve to be right there.
Absolutely.
I would put Daniel Weichel ahead of Pedro Cavallo.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And then I would probably keep, I don't know, man. I got to tell you, JJ Wilson's very impressive.
Oh, JJ Wilson is good.
And so in that mix, I just don't know stylistically he can beat Aaron Pico.
Well, I would tell you Mads Burnell, and everyone's going to be able to see Mads Burnell because he is fighting on April 2nd. So if you tune in, you will see Mads Burnell. Mads Burnell fought in the UFC. This guy is good everywhere. He technically is a solid fighter everywhere. He may not be the greatest athlete in the world, but man, technique-wise and the way he goes after this guy's got 4 Japanese necktie victories.
Yeah.
He is the Japanese necktie king. He goes after that thing and just puts you in a squeeze where your neck is getting cranked. He's good, and he does not belong at number 10. He should be higher.
Yeah, I trained with him at Extreme Couture's after the Patricky fight. And I was just there visiting, was training, went into the gym to kind of pay some visits and just get some rounds in. And he caught me in that Japanese necktie.
He will. He's good at it.
Well, I have a good, I do the half guard sweep from that position.
Yeah.
He kind of baits you to get there so he can hit you in that Japanese necktie. But it's impressive. I was able to get out of it 3 or 4 times. And then finally, as I got fat and just tired. He got me. He got me, man. He got me. But it was tight the first 3 or 4 times too. He tried to catch me, and I was like, I was gurgling a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not letting this dude catch me. Nah. And then he caught me finally. But good stuff.
It's a solid list of fighters when you're looking at that weight class. There's some studs in there.
But I think stylistically, like him and JJ Wilson, Mads Bernal and JJ Wilson line up very well. Pico, I like to see Pico and Pedro, or Pico and Daniel Weichel, that type of fight. In that mix. But I would bump Pedro down. I put Daniel Weichel at number 4, bump Pedro to number 5. I'd probably keep Pico where he is. Remember, we're trying to slow roll Pico, get him back on track. And I think in the rest of them, I guess we could kind of all be in that same position. Jeremy Kennedy, Taiwan.
I would just put Mads up more.
Where at?
Jeremy Kennedy's good. I would think that Taiwan, and I love Taiwan Claxton, but just take a look at the records, and Mads Bernal is a more dangerous fighter. Taiwan is more controlling fighter, good fighter, but Mads is the dangerous guy, so I'd put him above it.
Got it. Let's go to lightweight. Where are we at with that? Patricio is the champ there. Brent Primus, Patricky, Yamauchi, Benson, Sidney Outlaw, Miles Jury, Adam Piccolotti, Alfie Davis, Aviv Ghazali, and Karkanyan. I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't really see a whole lot of changes, to be honest.
No.
I would kind of probably keep it to where it is.
Yeah, I have no problem with anything that I see right there with it.
Good stuff. Pull up welterweight. Here we go, John. Here's a fucking shit show about to happen. We're about to
blow it apart.
We're about to blow this shit up.
That's it.
I mean, realistically, to me, like, it comes down to you can't have Michael Venom Page there. As much as I love MVP, you can't. You got to have a guy who's 20.
You can't put him in number 1 when number 2 is 25-0 and has fought everybody that they can put in front of him. Doesn't have the loss. Amazov deserves that number 1 position.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then I don't even know if I would put him above Naaman Gracie. I'd probably go Yaroslav Amosov. I'd probably go Naaman Gracie. And then I'd probably go Jason Jackson. How the fuck is Jackson down at number 6?
That's what I want to know. I'm looking at it going, are you kidding me? I love the fact that they got Joey Davis up there, because Joey Davis is coming on, and Joey Davis is going to be a monster. So that's a good person to put there. But you could actually put Joey Davis higher than where he's at.
Yeah, for sure you could. So I would go Douglas Lima, I'd go Amosov, I would go Naaman, and I would go Jason Jackson, and then I'd probably have in there maybe MVP, and then I'd probably put Joey Davis and Logan Storley kind of in that mix at the top at number 5 or number 6, somewhere in there. I think Logan and Joey are kind of in the same area, but I'd probably put Logan ahead of him only because he had such a great fight with Amosov.
Yeah, and he's just fought, if you're looking overall now, just a little bit higher in competition than Joey. Joey, now they're starting to put tough guys, and they're trying to book Joey against real guys all the time now, but he's eating everybody up.
He's just so good. He's gotten so much better on the ground and pound. He's gotten so much better.
His ground and pound is heavy.
Yeah. You know who's going to be the surprise, though, is Jaleel Willis. He's going to be
good
if he stays there.
Memphis, Tennessee's in the house, baby. Jaleel Willis is the real deal.
What a Tennessee homer.
You got to
just moved there a year ago. All of a sudden, now he's a homer.
Yeah, now it's a year. I like how I'm always 80 years old. You're always throwing years on my age, but where I live is you're taking years away. I like it. That's good.
But Jaleel Willis, to me, is going to be one of those guys. I think he can beat Oliver Enkamp, and I like Oliver's a lot.
Oliver's good. I like Oliver Enkamp.
I think Jaleel is just a little bit more explosive and a little bit more composed, has a little bit higher echelon of guys that he's fight. Sabah Hamasi, Joey Davis. I mean, I believe they're kind of all in that same ranking where they believe, but I think Joey needs to be up there next to Logan Storley somewhere. Yeah. I would put Joey above, maybe even above Derek Anderson.
Yep. Me too.
All right. But that was a shitstorm because of the whole Michael Venom Page today. I saw it on Twitter. People are like, what are you doing? How are you going to have Amosov below Michael Venom Page? And I'm an MVP.
Someone's not.
I'm an MVP.
I'm a huge MVP fan. But there's no way that at this moment you can say that Amosov should be below him.
Well, I think you're gonna have to bump if you bump MVP down to number 5, and I would put Jason Jackson above Logan Storley. So then you have Jason Jackson at number 4, and then you've got Logan Storley, and then I'd probably go MVP right there, just past Logan Storley. What do you think?
Well, hold. You're saying Amazov would be 2, Naaman Gracie would be 3.
Yep, Jason Jackson number 4, Logan Storley number 5, and then MVP, and then probably Joey Davis.
I think we just screwed that up. You're going to take Michael Page out of there. So Amazov becomes number 1.
Yes.
Gracie becomes number 2.
Yes.
Jason Jackson becomes number 3, or Logan Storley becomes number 3.
Jackson.
Jackson's 3, Storley's 4, Davis is 5.
Yep, Davis is 5, and then or you put
or MVP.
Yeah, or MVP and Joey
Davis
back and forth.
I'm okay with it.
Only because of the experience of level of competition.
To me, the best part is this way these guys get to look at that. And if you're Jalil Willis and you're number 10, you can look up and say, man, I want to fight Sabaho Masi. I want to fight I want Jason Jackson. I want to fight Joey Davis. And you can look and say, that's the guy that's going to get me up. That's the guy I want to go with.
Yep. Yeah, I think Jalil's got a good chance of beating guys like Sabaho Masi, Oliver Enkamp. I have a hard time with Joey Davis. You know, Derek Anderson, I think, is very beatable for him if he was to fight him. Derek's he's one of those guys. He's almost like a younger Patricio and Patricky. They have no control over the emotions when they fight.
He does not. I love Derek Anderson. You know, he's called the Barbaric, and he is absolutely 100% that. But if you hit him, he will lose his mind trying to get back at you. Yeah. And the fight IQ goes out the window. He's like, what are you doing? But he's good, and he's tough, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. He is.
All right, middleweights, let's go. Come on, Dave, get it up there. Gegard Mousasi. Well, he's one of the best fighters that's ever been in MMA. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's no way in the goddamn world you can put Salter at number 1 when you've got Tokov at number 2.
Fighting for the title next, by the way.
Is Tokov fighting for the title next or Salter?
I think it's Tokov versus Mousasi next.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Are you watching these guys? And I love John Salter. He's a stud, man. His ground game is so good. But Tokov is a truck when it comes to the stand-up, and his ground game's good too. There's no way in the world you can sit there and tell me a guy that's 29-2 shouldn't be at number 1 against John, where John Salter is at when he's 18-4. And if they matched up, Tokov's going to be the favorite in the fight.
I'm a huge fan of Austin Vanderford, but there's no way he deserves to be at number 3. Sorry,
dude.
Got Van Steenis and Fabian Edwards and Johnny Ebland. Now, I would probably put him above Johnny Ebland, but Van Steenis ahead of Fabian Edwards because he's beaten him.
Yeah, I was going to say, that loss on Fabian Edwards' record, that just happened to come to Costello Van Steenis. So that's a tough one.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Gegard. I'm going to go Tokov. I'll go Salter, and then I'll go Van Steenis. Then I'll go Fabian, and then I'll go Austin Vanderford. Then I go Ebland. I'd do Shipman above Charlie Ward.
Well, I'd also do Romero Cotton above him too.
Ward. The Ed Ruth thing. Look, he's not an 85 pounder. I know he's fought at 85 recently, but I wouldn't put him at 85. He's a 70 pounder. He just doesn't want to cut the weight anymore. He's that tweener. He's not big. He doesn't want to cut the weight to 70, and 85 is his body frame is not big enough for it. So he's kind of in that la land there area. So, but Romero is nasty. Sorry, I train with him, and I'm not being a homer. He's
physically strong.
It's nasty how strong that guy is.
Yeah, dude. Physically, that dude is a monster, man. He can wrestle. He is strong as hell. The only thing he's got to do is
cardio.
Okay, thank you very much. Control the fight because, man, you get tired. He's just got to get used to getting that cardio so he doesn't have to take his foot off the gas.
Yeah, he's got that cardio problem. Luckily for him, not a lot of his fights go that long.
The real troublemaker in that whole thing is Johnny Ebland, the Korean Canelo, as I think that's what his new nickname is. He's good. and he is able to wrestle. He wrestled at Missouri, man. He's a handful.
He is. He is. I'll give him that. He's going to have a hard time with guys like Van Steenis and Fabian. Fabian, the way he moves, his explosiveness, he's going to have a hard time with him.
John Ebland beats Fabian Edwards right now.
Think so?
Yep, right now.
What about Van Steenis?
That's a different one. That one's a little bit tougher.
He's an animal. Van Steenis is an animal.
He is. He's mean.
Yeah. And then Ebland and Vanford, they train together, right? Johnny Ebland and Vanderford. I think they're at ATT.
Yeah, they're both now at ATT. Yeah, because Vanderford just moved there. Yep.
All right, so scroll down. Here we go. Light heavyweight.
Okay, here's the problem, and I understand it. It's part of their whole ranking thing. But I got a guy named Rumble Johnson and a guy named Yoel Romero who's not on this list. While Tyree Fortune, who I love, he's a good guy, but Melvin Manhoef, love him as a person, doesn't belong on that list.
No,
you've got these guys. Okay, you're not gonna put them in here. All right, I understand that, but it just doesn't make sense.
This will all change as soon as they fight.
Yeah. Okay. So hold it. So this is the problem. He's going to get one of them's going to get a loss.
Yeah.
All right. And they're going to come and be where on this list because that's where they belong. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So you're going to go Nemkov, Bader, Davis, Corey Anderson, Machida. I'm going to go Anglikas above Machida.
I could put Anglikas. I think we've talked about Julius Anglikas. This guy's good. You're talking about a human being that's got 0% body fat at 205 pounds. He is huge, and he's got good stand-up.
Yeah. Yep. And I think
Christian Edwards is coming on. He's getting better. Alex Polizzi is tough as hell, but Grant Neal, he's from Elevate. I think he's from Elevation Fight Team. He's got Jake Ramos as his coach, and he's a good guy, good tough fighter. He's got that DC frame in the light heavyweight division. Yeah. He is shorter and stockier, and he's got to get through people.
I use Deron Wynn as an example.
Deron, yeah, exactly. It's a rough one. I mean, because you could look at Julius Anglikas is this guy about 6'3", 205 pounds, cut down to nothing. He comes into the cage probably 230 pounds, and Grant Neal's 5'7", 5'8".
He's probably 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, he's not that big, man. We're looking at that would be a tough fight. But
I mean, like this is where look, let's just be honest. John and I talk about it all the time. This is where we start to get a little bit thin. Like the talent is young, trying to get them to trying to build their records, trying to get them up to the fight the top echelon of guys. It's going to be hard because right now, like I said, like UFC's got 600 people, 700, 650 people under contract. We've got maybe 280 to 300 at the most. You know what I mean? So when we're doing the rankings, you're going to see some of this where you see Grant Neal being 5-0, Christian Edwards being 4-0, Tyree Fortune being 5-0. They're young. They're up and coming. There's the ceiling is the limit. We're trying to get them past that ceiling. We'll see what happens. But like in this mix of Corey Anderson, Phil Davis, Julius Anglikas, like those guys, those are the top 5, top 6 guys, in this bracket right now. And like you said, you've got Yoel Romero, you've got Anthony Johnson. One of those guys is going to end up with a loss. Do you even put him on the top 10? That's the problem.
That's the whole question.
But I'd rather see the fight than I don't care where they get placed in the top 10. I'd rather see them. Is my opinion. Heavyweight. Ryan Bader being the champion.
Okay.
Timothy Johnson, Czech Congo, Valentin Moldavsky, Fedor Emelianenko, Linton Vassell, Tyrell Fortune, Steve Mowry, Matt Mitrione, Sergey Karatanov, and Javier Ala. Do you have a problem with any of these?
I have one problem. They got rid of someone that I don't know what happened in the contract dispute or something, but
Visa.
What's that?
Visa.
Visa?
So he's
Minikoff, is absolutely the guy that should have been right there at the top of that.
Yeah.
But right now, Valentin Moldavsky, he's good.
Yeah.
Linton Vassell at heavyweight is getting better. Tyrell Fortune is good. Mowry is getting better all the time. So you got, Bader belongs at number one because, well, as the champ. Okay, great. Timothy Johnson has been performing really well.
Yeah.
He's coming into his own. And part of that is his, he's been the training partner for Francis Ngannou at Extreme Couture. He's been the guy that's been wrestling with Francis. He's the big, and he talks about, I'm the guy getting hit in the head by Francis. It's not a good thing, but it's made him a better fighter. He's way more comfortable in the stand-up based upon, man, if I can be in here with that guy, I can be in there with anybody.
Yeah.
And he deserves everything he's getting right now because he's come into Bellator. He lost 2 big fights that he took, one of them last minute against Minakov. I mean, last minute.
Yeah, it was like the day
Day of.
It was weigh-ins. They're like, hey, we have to switch this up.
Yep. So he definitely deserves it. Czech Congo has, been there forever. He's just a good, smart fighter, very physically as gifted as far as, doesn't carry a whole lot of extra weight, but he's getting up in age.
Yeah.
He's what, 40 what now?
He's 44.
Oh, man.
Maybe even pushing
It's
40.
amazing. Well, that just proves, physically how gifted he is. But
I'm going to go into a little bit of, not really a rant, but it's more like, I don't want to see Fedor in the rankings. It just, there's no reason to. Like, he's not going to fight any of these guys. Maybe, I mean, he might fight maybe a Czech Congo. I don't know. He might, he's not going to fight these guys. And so I don't even know if they're going to have, there's a lot of talk that he may not fight again. They were talking about one more fight. Like, it's like, okay, I get it. It's nice to have him up there for nostalgia, but I don't look at him as being someone who fights often enough now, especially with COVID, for him to be in the rankings.
And he's not fighting for the championship.
No, and he won't.
That's gone now.
Yeah, so I don't think I think you push, excuse me, Linton Vassell up ahead of him. I think you take Fedor out of the rankings. We keep Timothy Johnson, Czech Congo, Moldavsky. I'd put Moldavsky probably ahead of Congo.
I would put Moldavsky at number 2.
Yeah, I'd put Moldavsky at number 2. Vassell and Czech. I mean, Vassell
right there.
Yeah, right there. It could be interchangeable, but you know where you're at. And Tyrell's probably right behind. Steve Mowry is the one that's kind of the dark horse. Physically gifted, so big.
6'8".
6'8", yeah. Just a big guy. So and then the other guy that I'm a little bit of a homer with Javier Alba, man.
Yeah, you are.
Love that. He's awesome. Just a great guy. I love it. But when you get down to Karatanov and Michiron, it's kind of they're interchangeable however you want. One's a little bit more active than the other, but Matt's still got all the talent and the ability, but I put Mowry in them ahead. So I go Ryan Bader, Tim Johnson, Moldavsky. I'd put Linton Vassell above Czech Congo. Then I'd probably go Czech Congo. And then take Fedor just completely out and then try and slide somebody else into the top 10 position. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Let's get into the women. Let's get into the women's flyweight. Juliana Velasquez, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, number 1. Juliana Velasquez being the champion after she just beat Ilima-Lei Macfarlane. Liz Carmouche, number 2. Denise Kielholtz, number 3. 4, Alejandra Lara. 5, Kana Watanabe. And then 6, Kate Jackson. 7, Vida Ortega. 8, Mandy Baum. And then Valerie Loretta and Bruna Ellen. What do you think?
I honestly, I think I would change maybe 1. I think and I love Vida Ortega, but Mandy belongs above that. Okay. I would actually think that Mandy should be ranked somewhere in the area of maybe 6, but at least 7. Other than that, I really don't have a problem with it.
Would you put Lara ahead of Denise Kielholtz?
No, in the fact that Denise Kielholtz in her last couple of fights has really performed well. She's her stand-up is so explosive, but she's been submitting people too, and she did just beat Kate Jackson. So I know Alejandra Lara just had a win. Her last win was against Vida. It was a decision win. It was a good win. It showed her improvement in her stand-up game. But right now, I believe Denise kind of deserves to be where she's at.
Gotcha. Okay. I would interchange them.
Yeah, good.
But I think I would probably wait and reserve the right to do it after she fights Watanabe.
Watanabe, there you go.
She beats Watanabe, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
I was totally right. Put her above there.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back later after.
Yeah.
See the fight. Let's go down here to the women's featherweight. Cyborg being the champion should be number 1. Julia Budd number 2. Blank count number Julia Budd number 1 because Cyborg is the champion.
Yes.
Arlene Blankow number 2. Kat Zingano number 3. Leslie Smith number 4. Sinead O'Connor, Kavanaugh number 5. Janae
Could be Sinead O'Connor if you want. She sings well.
Janae Harding number 6. Leah McCourt number 7. Amanda Bell number 8. Olga Rubin number 9. And Jessie Melee.
Yeah, Mealy.
I knew there was a way you had to say it. I would go. I don't know how to. I think Arlene deserves to be it'd be that Kat Zingano Arlene interchange somewhere in there. I don't know.
Well, I look at it this way. Arlene Blanco, she's got a win over Leslie Smith, but it was a decision win, split decision. I understand it, but her last fight was against Cyborg, and she got mauled.
It was disgusting.
Got mauled. And so you look at that and you go, you've got to put other people and say, the ones that have won, Sinead Kavanaugh in her last couple of fights, man, her last fight especially, she's going after these ladies and she's putting fist on them. So both Sinead and Leslie and Kat, I would move up, and I'd move Arlene back down in between there. Janae Harding's about where she needs to be. Leah McCourt, all those I have no problem with. I would just switch. I would leave Julia Budd where she's at number 1, but Kat Zingano would go to number 2. Leslie Smith would be 3. Sinead, because she lost to Leslie Smith, I think in a split decision victory, would stay where she's at, being number 4, and number 5 would be Arlene Blanco.
I think from what I was hearing, Leah McCourt and Janae Harding might be fighting. So if that all comes to fruition,
they were supposed to, and then there was a problem. So I think they're putting that back together. That would be a good fight.
Great fight. One's got judo, some decent submissions, and the other one's got some ground and pound and some
nasty stand up.
Should be a fun fight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no. Where's the pound for pounds? All right, the men's pound for pound. Patricio Pitbull number 1. All right, John. Let's get into
no doubt about it.
Let's get in the rest of this nonsense.
No doubt. All right. Who has lost their effing mind?
Crazy, man.
All right. I mean, if you're going to say pound for pound, Douglas Lima just went with Gegard Mousasi, and yeah, he lost, but he went up in weight to do it, right? And you've got him down at number 6, where Gegard is up at number 3. You got Nemkov at number 2. I just don't see it. Pound for pound is about the guy that, you know what? He is the one at that weight class. He's this good that we believe that if you matched him up and put him in those weight classes, he would be, even with these guys that are beating him. I don't know. I just look and say Patricio Pitbull definitely should be number 1. But I think that Douglas Lima should be number 2. You want to put Nemkov number 3 from there, fine. But Gegard Mousasi is a guy, man, you're talking about a resume of fights. Take a look at that record, Josh. 47 wins with 7 losses.
Let's not forget, he's fought at heavyweight. He's fought at light heavyweight. He's fought at
middleweight.
Everywhere.
Yep.
He's even talked about, I can make 170. I don't know. But
I don't think so.
Talked about it.
I hope he doesn't.
I would say Patricio. I would say Lima number 2. And then I'd probably go somewhere in there with the reason why I'd put Gegard number 3. I might even put Juan Archuleta number 4 over Ryan Bader. The only reason being is because he's fought in 35, 45, 55. Now he's established back at 35, being the champion. I'd probably put him number 4 ahead of Ryan Bader.
And AJ McKee. I'd have AJ McKee higher than number 7.
Yes, I would for sure. And then after that, like once you get past those guys, I don't even see Yaroslav Amosov. How do you not have him?
He's not even on there, dude.
How do you
I love that.
He's 25-0. How do you not have this guy on here? That's
well, hold on. They had Phil Davis at number 3 in the light heavyweights, and they have it number 8 in the pound for pound. How does that work?
I'll tell you how it works. You guys, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. You want to know how that works? Is that the media goes by names. That's all. Those are the only names that they know. They don't watch Bellator. These guys, these media people, They're going based off of who they've seen fight before. That's it. They haven't done any research on these guys. AJ Mckee is the guy. I'm ripping into them right now. It's sad because you've got Yaroslav Amosov at 25-0. You've got you have other really good fighters with one loss or no losses. You know, I mean, like you look at like Tokov. What's Tokov? What's his record?
29-2.
29-2. And he'll be fighting for the title next against Musasi.
They don't even have him as number one.
Yes. So this is we can go into this all day long, and we're gonna rip into them a little bit, but it's like Patricio. I got Patricio. I've got Lima. I've got Gegard. Those are the three, and then I'd put Juan Archuleta number 4. Then I'd probably put AJ Mckee number 5, and then I'd put Yaroslav Amosov, or vice versa. I just could interchange AJ and Yaroslav Amosov, in there. That's what I would do. I mean, I don't even know if I would have Bader ahead of those two guys.
I wouldn't.
There you go.
Bader. I love Ryan Bader, but he's coming off a crushing loss to Vadim Nemkov, and he's only one person away from him on this list. How?
Yeah,
how? Doesn't make sense.
Yep. So there's there's a lot of other really good fighters that are in that mix as well that we could throw in there that are undefeated as well. I mean, Nurmagomedov, where do you put him? He's 17-1. He's only lost to Peter Yan. I mean, like,
he would be up there.
He'd be up there too. So I'd put him in there as well. Got Khabib's cousin as well, with 1 win, 2 wins. You gotta get him in there first for the win, But
you also don't have Rumble or Yoel in the light heavyweights because they haven't fought there. So Usman, he's got to fight there first. I got it.
And now you go to the women's pound for pound.
Chris is going to be number 1. She should be. Juliana should be number 2. I look at Aleem Malay at number 3, and I think that's right. I don't see a problem with that at all. I think I'd move Liz Carmouche up, though.
Yep. Above Arlene and Denise, I would.
Oh, definitely above Arlene.
Would you put her above Julia?
I might. I think I would.
I probably would. Where do you put Kat?
But they fight so similar, too. Kat would be somewhere about where she's at. I don't have a problem with that.
You'd put her behind Arlene and Denise?
Right now, yeah, because she's only had one fight in quite a long time.
Yeah.
And so I'm just giving her not that I don't love her as a fighter and not that I don't respect her what she's done. I'm just giving her time to come out and do her thing and then let her be put in that spot. The higher you go on the list, the more pressure there is the way I look at it. So just give her time.
Very true. Very true. I mean, overall, there was only a couple little things in terms of the rankings, but when I get to the pound for pound, that's where you start realizing that they only recognize the media people that are doing this. They only recognize the bigger names.
Certain names.
Yeah, certain names. And so that upsets me a little bit because I know we've got a lot of top talent that's in there that should be on that list. It's not on that pound for pound list. And even when you go to the rankings in their weight classes, they're not where they should be either. They're way down below. I mean, yeah, it's a little concerning.
It's the first one. I'll give it. I don't totally agree with it, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. But you guys need to get a little better.
I mean, we pretty much just gave you guys our rankings, so it should be intertwined somewhere in there. You guys should understand we're kind of in that mix of what we think. I mean, but John, we just have to come out with our own pound for pound rankings.
I think, you know what? We might start doing this. In fact, we might start doing one. Why don't we start thinking about, let's do I don't give a shit what promotion they're in. Our top 10.
Yep. A true pound for pound.
Ooh, not in pound for pound. We'll do a top 10 in certain divisions, no matter what promotion they fight for. So if they fight for one, or they fight for the UFC, or they fight for ACA, or they fight for Bellator, they can all be put in there depending upon where we think they should be. We got to do that sometime.
Because guys like Lance Palmer have been left out for so many years. I mean, I know
absolutely
breaking in the cash, but it'd be nice to have.
It's all about the ducats, baby.
Yeah, he's good, man. All right, so hey, let's go to mybookie.ag.
Speaking of ducats.
Ducats. Hey, that's a good segue, buddy. Mybookie.ag, use the promo code weighing in, and they're going to give you a little extra cash and spending money. And If you guys don't know, March Madness, what is it, Sweet 16 this weekend?
Down to the Elite 8.
Down to the Elite 8. We get to the Final Four this weekend, though. So this is a good time for you guys to go ahead and dish a little cash out, and they'll give you a little extra spending cash for you guys to gamble, lose it all in basketball.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
As well as the Bellator fights on Friday night on Showtime. And like John was saying, though, they are not charging you for the premium channel. So if you go to your guys' Showtime platform there, you will see us there for free. So enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy these fights.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into some news, buddy.
All right, let's do that. Since we're still on Bellator a little bit, Matt Mitrione is forced, I'm telling you, out of his Bellator fight with Tyrell Fortune. Is that a good thing for him or a bad thing, Josh?
I think it's a phenomenal thing for him.
Tell me why.
His weakness has always been wrestling, and Tyrell can freaking wrestle. He can wrestle. But, you know, in all fairness, though, Tyrell Fortune, he just hasn't been using his wrestling. He's fell in love with the stand-up. So that might have got him into trouble. But I think Tyrell used to train with Ryan Bader. Is he still with Bader?
Not too much.
Not too much. So I think him training with Ryan Bader for those years, I think he realized that Ryan Bader laid the game plan on how to beat Matt Mitrione. He's probably like, okay, let's not take that fight. And I don't know if he got injured, hurt, COVID or anything. I don't know what the situation was, but yeah, personally though, is a good decision for him not to fight.
Well, I can't say exactly why, whatever the problem is, but if Matt, you're not feeling good, if you heard, I did see Matt looks slim. He has been putting pictures out. He's been on this diet where they make his food and stuff. Matt Mitrione is all of a sudden svelte. So he looks really good. If he's hurting anyway, Matt, I hope you get better fast.
Buddy, we could probably all look slim if we had chefs making our healthy food.
Damn straight, baby.
Jeez. Oh, wow. Look at this.
Oh, you see? There you go. There's a picture for you.
Bringing sexy back.
Bringing sexy back to business there, Mitrione. Look at you, baby. Good for you, man.
Crazy to think a guy that big could be that lean. It's nuts. It's nuts to me. Give us what else is next there? Podcast, Dave. All right. So like we talked about a little bit earlier, Bellator debuts of Anthony Johnson and Yoel Romero have been delayed until I believe May 7th?
May 7th. They pushed it back because there was an illness one of the fighters had. I'm not going to say which one, but they needed some time. They wanted to make sure that both guys were going to come in at their best. Both fighters were good with the change. So May 7th is the date that we will get to see them. And that's also the day of the world title fight between Archuleta and Sergio Pettis. So that's going to be a hell of a card.
Who's going to be the main event?
The championship fight. What the hell is wrong with you, Thompson?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, I know it's a great fight. I think it's good to have I always think it's good to have the title fight as the main event.
It is, but it doesn't change the Romero Johnson fight. That's a 5-round fight. So
true as well. True. Have you seen pictures of AJ?
Yes.
Go to his Instagram there, Dave.
He looks like he's 170 pounds again. I was the one saying there's no way that Anthony Johnson is going to get back to light heavyweight. He was too big, too heavy, too muscular. I'm not saying he was fat. He was just carrying so much muscle on his frame. And look at him there. He looks, Jason Jackson looks bigger than him almost.
Yes. Yep. But you know what I want to say, though? One thing. Anthony, what are you doing with shoes on the damn mats?
They're wrestling shoes.
No, they're not. Those are Jordans.
Those are wrestling shoes.
Oh, they are wrestling shoes.
What the hell's wrong with you?
The way it looked, they look like just.
Have you ever put a pair of those on your feet? What is wrong with you, Thompson?
Those ones.
Not one's that expensive.
Oh man, no, I couldn't afford those ones. Those are too expensive. He looks lean. Look at his face, man.
Dude, he looks so lean. It's incredible.
Fucking jawline. Jeez.
I was shocked when I saw that picture. I said, man, that dude has absolutely he transformed himself into this giant behemoth and then just sucked it all right back. And now he is slimmer than he was when he was fighting DC in the UFC.
So if you guys haven't seen this picture, you guys go to his Anthony_Rumble and check it out. Anthony Johnson. He's looking lean, man. Check him out.
Looks good. Way to go, Anthony.
Why you didn't like the picture, John? Because you were jealous.
All right. Well, let's get into this. All the drama in the sport right now.
Oh my God, do we have drama? I love the drama part. It is so much fun because I get to sit back and just watch it and laugh.
John Kardashian over here.
Woo!
Oh, we're gonna start calling you Big John Kardashian. I love it.
First off, the one I want, Ben Askren has a gift for being able to get under the skin of a lot of fighters. But when he fought Masvidal, because Masvidal hated him, and then Masvidal had the knockout. But Masvidal siding with Jake Paul and being on his call and stuff and saying all this stuff. I love the fact Funky finally came out and said it, man. He says, you know what? Stop. Dude, I've refrained for 2 years, but let's be real, George. You landed the luckiest knee of your life, and I made you famous. Now, I'm going to say this just flat out honest. That knee was not lucky. That knee was planned. That knee was practiced. That knee was something that they saw a tendency, and they said, we're going to start off with this because this is what he has a tendency of doing. And they caught him in that tendency that was a bad tendency. So it was not lucky. I'm telling you right now, that was skill. But you got 50 to 43 by Usman, and will likely again next month. Beat it, loser.
He's got a way with words, and he's got a way of getting underneath people's skin.
He's intelligent, man.
He is. He's extremely intelligent. He's intelligent when it comes to talking shit also.
Yeah, he is.
And I think what makes it worse is his hair and his body. Like, it makes it worse when someone that looks like him, shaped like him, talks shit to you. Like, and there's a chance there's nothing you can do about it.
Did you see his Rocky video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you see the sweats he's wearing?
It's the old style wrestling style.
It's the old style gray sweats, but they even had holes in them, man. They were filled with holes and stuff. I go, you're classic, brother. You are. And he's got the toque on. He got that white toque and stuff. That's beautiful.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. It's funny. You ever get in the wrestling room with like an old school wrestling guy? They wear like you'll see DC. He'll pull his tights up above his belly button.
Oh God, I know.
To warm up and fight. And like when we're in the wrestling room doing some wrestling, it's like,
dude, Mark Schultz used to go everywhere he traveled. Man, he had thongs on. Now, depending on the thong, sometimes it was just the little beach thong that were rubber with the little rubber strap on your foot. Sometimes it was the slide-ins, but the thongs, shorts, a nasty t-shirt, and a toothbrush in his hand. He traveled everywhere like that. That's
it.
Just crazy.
The toothbrush thing must be like an Olympic training center type thing, because Mike Van Arsdale, he walked all around with a toothbrush.
I know.
It's got. He would be like we would be in the car on the way back from training. He'd be brushing his teeth. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's
brushing my teeth, man.
I'm just cleaning my teeth, man. Why don't you floss first? I don't know.
Great. The best.
If you guys haven't seen the video on Ben Askren's Instagram, go to Ben Askren on Instagram. Check it out. It's a Rocky video. He's got that must be his wife.
That's his wife.
Unless you're kissing a stranger, Ben.
He might be.
Might be, but great stuff. But yeah, look at that vicious pad work. Stick and move. Just
every time Ben throws a punch, it makes me go, he's gonna get killed. And then I go, no, he's gonna win. He's gonna win.
John Jones sends a clear message to the UFC. Please cut me already. Just let me go. I mean,
did you see all of his tweets?
Oh yeah.
Come on, man. You gotta love him. First one. What was the first one? What you would rather? I swear the UFC industry. Come on, stop, Dave. My God, why don't you move him a little bit more?
We're reading the there's a top one.
Okay, the first one. Please just cut me already. Now, obviously, someone is not going to get paid what he wants to get paid, so he's like, "Well, I'm not fighting for you." So, but we'll see what happens with that. Next one. You would rather have me around and treat me like shit. Guess he feels like he's getting treated badly. I swear the UFC industry has been nothing but depressing for me. What's the UFC industry?
The sport of MMA or just the
It's
UFC?
not the sport. That's bullshit. He's just talking about the UFC as a company, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've all worked for them, John. We know.
Well, it's okay.
It's just what everybody else has been thinking for years that's fought for them or worked.
I feel like my wings are being clipped. Damn.
I mean,
next one. Just fucking let me go. And then what type of weird shit is this? Obviously, the boss hates me. Let me take my business elsewhere. What do you think of all this?
There's a couple ways of looking at it. John Jones, I don't think is somebody that is afraid to fight anybody. I think DC came out and said that today too. John Jones,
negative.
He's not afraid to fight Francis Ngannou. He just wants to get compensated, and he wants to get compensated well for it. But the problem is, though, John is a ticket seller, but he's not quite at the level of a Conor, or I don't know. I would put him probably maybe a little bit ahead of Khabib. I'm not sure though.
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so. I think.
Well, it's so hard to say because Khabib was part of that Conor thing that bumped his numbers way up too.
Yeah, so I would say him and Khabib are probably about the same. If I was going to give an edge, maybe a little bit to John. But that's also at 205. Well, John's going to heavyweight. It's going to be a bump in pay-per-views for that. He's going to get, if he normally does 600, I think he'll do 850, 900, maybe even closer to $1 million. Somewhere in there, that 850 to $1 million is what I think he'll do. I don't think he'll break $1 million, not with our million buys with Ngannou.
Against Ngannou?
Be close.
I think it definitely breaks $1 million buys.
John,
I think people want to see that.
John, I'm streaming it, buddy. Everybody's streaming it, John.
I hope that Dana White catches you pirating his property and brings you down.
You're always trying to keep me down. What is that? What does that have to do with it? John? Come on, bro. Come on.
I love it.
Realistically, I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be tons of people that stream it, and so that's been affecting the pay-per-views for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Sure, but that has nothing to do with John Jones.
I agree with you. I do, but when it comes down to promotion, getting paid on them, that's what it has to do with. So you got to I look at it from a business point of view on their part, and the UFC's point, and hey, pay-per-views are not what they used to be, and we probably will not be. We can't compensate you as much for the pay-per-view stuff.
Oh my God, no, they can't compensate him. Bullshit.
They're scheduled to make, I think, over $1 billion this year.
Hello.
So they can
yes.
Their fighters.
First off, they know where their numbers are at already before it happens.
Yeah.
So I'm never the guy, a lot of people think I hate John. I don't hate John. I actually like John, and I think John's right. John, keep doing what you're doing because you deserve to get paid to fight Francis Ngannou. You deserve to get paid based upon the entire length of work that you have done in beating guys one after the other and holding on to that light heavyweight title. Now you're moving up to heavyweight and you're going to fight a freaking monster. Okay. Absolutely. You deserve to get paid. I hope you get paid whatever it is you want, or at least close to it. But just so you know, John, they're not going to cut you. That ain't going to happen, dude. They're not going to release you. They're not going to cut you. So figure out where it is that you guys can kind of meet to where you're still happy, and they'll meet that price.
I mean,
come on, that's the truth.
John Jones is 34 years old. I don't think he'll have another big fight. This is his big fight opportunity, so that's why he wants to get paid as much money as he's trying to get for it. Which
he deserves it.
He deserves it. I agree with you. He does deserve it. Do I think they're going to pay him? I think they will, but they're going to wait until after probably the Derek Lewis fight.
Well, they've already got our boy Chael shilling for him on how important and good the Derek Lewis against Ngannou fight would be.
Oh,
man, I love you, Chael, but you will absolutely sell your soul to the devil to put that out. Come on, man. You're going to say, go back and watch that fight. It is better than a freaking, if you have insomnia, that is all you have to do is watch that first fight.
That ain't gonna happen again, John. That fight ain't gonna go down like that again.
Oh, well, you say that, and guess what happens?
Yeah. It could.
It could. You know, I would hope it wouldn't, but it could. They could both be so like, I'm not gonna get hit by that guy. They dance again for another, not 3 rounds, but 5 rounds.
Connor, not Connor. Chael called up Dana and goes, "Hey, who's next? Who's next for Connor?"
Dude, Dana called Chael, says, "Hey, bud, I need you to do me a favor, man. I need you to, go out in the media and put this out there that, you know what, Derek Lewis, that's a great matchup right now." And I love Derek Lewis. I'm not taking anything away from him.
Oh man.
But if you're gonna sit there and tell me that should be the fight over John Jones, no, what you're doing is you're trying to manipulate people's opinions and the media and try to push John into a place where John doesn't want to sit longer. And so he takes less in taking the fight. John, stick to your guns, get the money you deserve, and that should be the fight. John Jones against Francis Ngannou.
But what does he do, John? If he doesn't take the fight, he sits on the sideline again for another 3 or 4 months easily.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's the problem, is he's stuck.
Yeah, because they're going to say, "Hey, we're going to offer you Francis Ngannou for this price." And he's going to say no. Well, that is extended his contract.
Exactly.
6 months.
Yep.
They're going to offer him again, Francis Ngannou for this price. I mean, realistically, he could probably just say, "I'm going to go back down to 205. And then I guess Dana White came out and said, "You know what? It'd probably be good for him to go to 85. That's what he said.
Yeah, jokingly.
Why joke?
No.
Because he said if you're John Jones and you saw Francis tonight, I'd be cutting weight down to 85.
No.
That's what he said. Did you see it?
John can wrestle. John can wrestle. So, I mean, I don't know. I look at it as they are trying to disrespect him a little bit. You are the most talented guy that the UFC has ever had.
Yep.
You are their youngest champion they've ever had. I just don't see why you take that fight for any less than, because beyond Francis, there's no other heavyweights in there that have the name value of Francis Ngannou after beating Stipe. This is your biggest money fight, probably. I mean, not to date, but I'm saying like this will be your biggest money fight at heavyweight.
And it's also the most dangerous fight.
Yes.
Let's just be honest. Yeah. All right. If time and what we've seen with John has proved anything, it's the guys that are his size, his length, that give him problems.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what he's facing? Plus nuclear weapons in each fist. And John's got a good chin. John can take a shot, but nobody can take that big of a shot and survive.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how they end up doing this.
Yep.
They're gonna have to do something in terms of. I mean, I would almost think that they would skew it to the point where they just tell him like, "Hey, we'll give you a bigger portion of pay-per-views if you sell."
That would, if I was John, I would try to work out something with. All right, let's look at this. If I break this number, and I'm gonna go into the media, I'm gonna do all these things, I'm gonna sell this thing. So if I break this number, this is what you pay me. I would do that because then you're betting on yourself. If you don't do those numbers, shame on you. You're the one that didn't create the buzz that it needed. But if you have that, it's sitting there, and I just got to break this number, I'm gonna bust my ass to get people interested in that fight. And people would be interested in this fight because it almost comes back to the whole Floyd Mayweather thing. Look, there's people that love John and there's people that hate John. Okay, that's great. There's people that are going to pay money to watch this fight because they believe that Francis Ngannou will put John Jones's head into the third row, and they want to see it. And then there's people, they want to see John beat that monster.
That's true. Yeah. Like Floyd Mayweather was popular because majority of people wanted to see him lose or they wanted to see him win, depending on what side you were on. But it is one of those fights that it's got to have to happen. But the longer he sits on the sideline, it makes it harder and harder for him because Francis is getting better every time. I think they're both 33 or 34.
They're both 34.
Both 34.
John's not quite.
John, yeah. I say John's only 33 right now, right? Yeah. Okay. But it's, you got to look and say it's coming. It's not that it's at the end, but he doesn't have that many more fights really that are available within a short time when you're talking big fights like this and things. He's got to make his money now. This is where you're saying, I got to start putting it away. I've got to make the big money now so I can make it for the rest.
You puppy?
Yeah, my dog just came down with its toy. So
I was like,
if you're hearing squeaking, it's my dog.
I was like, here all of a sudden.
I do. All of a sudden I'm hearing, I'm like, I'm trying to look without looking. I go, is he down here? Yep.
I was like, do you have a dog?
yeah, that's my dog. That's Jitsu.
I love it. Next
Normally
thing,
he doesn't come down here. He hates down here. He's afraid of it.
he probably felt comfortable with you down there.
Oh, man.
Scroll up. I wanted to read the headline. We have to talk to Dave about his activity on the
Man, I'll tell you what. He's got Parkinson's disease.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Up and down with this
Dave, look, the thing's moving all around like.
Yeah.
I have OCD pretty bad, so I gotta have it.
Well, he's one of those guys that he like scrolls to the pictures because he can't read. So he like wherever the picture is, he tries to get to it as fast as he can. Tony Ferguson training with GSP and Freddie Roach.
Good for him, man. That's a good thing. Good for Tony. Just don't become a boxer.
I mean, he's already got pretty good stand-up, I think.
But here's my question for you, Josh. I don't know because, I'm stupid. But why is George St. Pierre in Hollywood, California, training with Freddie Roach?
I don't know what to tell you, John. I feel like we've already talked about this, but
oh, okay. I was just wondering, just the question I had.
John, GSP is retired.
I know he is
enjoying that retired life.
It must be because it's still winter in Montreal, so it was good to get into Hollywood.
That's got to be it, John. He's down there wild card, enjoying the sun and training with
that California weather that you can't go outside in, or you have to wear a mask. Got it.
So why train with someone who's trained for Khabib? I don't know, 5 times. Why train with that guy?
I don't know.
Oh gosh, I love it. The guy's an animal, man. 40 years old. Look at him. I mean, I've seen videos of him. He's freaking shredded. I'm like, geez, here I am, 43 or whatever, and I'm like, I got a dad bod going on. Look at that right there. Look at that picture right there in the bottom right corner.
Look at that picture. 40
years old. Look at that guy. Jeez, man. He's got to get rid of the hair, though. Come on. Just cut it off. GSP, it's not you. It's one of the most weirdest things. It weirds me out. It really does.
You don't like GSP with hair, huh?
It's just, I think because sometimes the way he styles it, it looks a little weird. Like it makes it, I don't know. And then he puts out videos like this, and you're all, okay, what's going on, buddy? But he's an animal. Guy's an animal.
He is.
Give me some more news.
Special athlete.
And that pretty much does it for news there. The other piece is just small one. Sean O'Malley's just saying he wants Dominic Cruz as a co-main.
We talked about that. You think Dominic Cruz eats him up?
I think Dom beats him.
Yeah,
I think he beats him.
That's a good matchup.
Dom's proven his fight IQ is way better than most people.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Inside the cage,
Dom will tell you.
Incredibly smart. That's true. He will.
I'll tell you.
But I thought, Sean O'Malley looked so good in that fight against Thomas Almeida. He was smooth. He beat him twice. Let's be honest, man. He walked away on the first round, and then he got to walk away. He didn't walk away on the third round. He
almost walked away.
Lit him up.
Yeah. He almost walked away though. Again, then he had jumped back in.
Yeah, well, those.
I got a lot of flack. People were hitting me up in my DMs, going, "Oh man, you don't give him any respect. You don't look." All I do is talk about how good he is. The problem is that he's got to make sure he doesn't read his own paper clippings. He's got to stay focused on what the goal is. The goal is to be the best. He's not ranked in the top 15. He's lost to Chito Vera, who is at number 15. So I don't want to go patting him on the back too much. He's not even in the top 15, you guys. He's got Chito Vera's 15. He just lost to him. So let's not jump him ahead of everybody else that's there. Do I think that the Dom fight is a great fight for him? I think it's a perfect fight for him. You're beating a legend that throws you right into the mix of getting in that top, you know.
Oh, look at you. You see, he's winning that fight.
I'm just saying, if he wins, do I think he'll win? He's got a chance. He does.
He does.
But Dom is not gonna do what Almeida did. He's not gonna stand right in front of him and get hit. Dom's gonna move left and right. Dom's gonna wrestle, not wrestle. He's gonna do all those things.
Yeah.
Can O'Malley deal with that? Can he deal with the switching of the stance? What the hardest thing is to deal with Dom? Top veteran guys had a hard time dealing with his movement. A young, talented guy like him, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with his movement. You don't realize how hard it is until you're in there going, fucking hold still so I can hit you. Try and go with someone who's got good footwork. And Dom's got good footwork, and he's going to use that against someone like Sean O'Malley. But let's be real. Sean O'Malley, I don't think,
did you say Dom has good footwork?
You don't think so?
Dom's got crazy footwork.
Yeah,
it works for Dom.
Yeah.
Nobody else can do what Dom does.
With the footwork. I mean,
No.
TJ
Different footwork.
different. It is.
It's different.
A little bit.
Yeah. Look, what Dom does, you don't see anybody else do because they couldn't do it. It would screw him up. It just works for him because he created it, you know, and he makes it work. Yeah. But if he tries to teach that to other guys and you see them trying to do it, ain't gonna happen. He's just got it. It's ingrained in him, his movement and when and why he does it.
I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. He just fucking free cuffs it. He just does what
maybe it is, man.
It works. But I think until Sean O'Malley was to get in there with Dominic Cruz, he's very beatable. But it's different. Casey Kenny was a classic example. I'm just gonna walk him down and no, it's not that easy, you guys.
He did try. He tried to walk him down. He just didn't understand at times, you know, when he was coming and all that, and it made a difference in the fight. It took away a lot of Casey Kenny's offense.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get a time and a rhythm. If you change your angle, like we had talked about this before, right? The military tells you, or the police, is it the military or the police?
Both. Yeah, talking about anything, ambushes, all those things.
Somebody's running right at you with a knife or a gun, right? To circle off, like basically 2 steps back and circle, because your brain can't function enough to like still retaliate and try and track you. And Dom has done that to the key, like to the T, in terms of
Sean. Or to the key.
Yeah, to the key. That Sean O'Malley will try to mount his offense. He's gonna have a hard time because Dom will be over there, and Dom will be over there, and Dom might be in the middle getting punched, and Dom might be throwing something back. And so there's a lot going on. It's not just stand in front of me and fight. You know, that's one of those things that, like, if you go back and you guys watch the fight with Clay Guida and Gray Maynard, Gray was so frustrated. I had to calm him down in the corner. I'm like, stop. He's like, you won't fucking fight me. You won't fight me. Let's go. He's calling him a pussy between rounds. He's yelling at him. He fucking wouldn't shake his hand afterwards. He's like, get the fuck away from me. He was so pissed. Gray wins the fight, but he was so mad that he wouldn't stand and fight with him. Yeah. I was like, so that's the frustration level of a lot of people when they're trying to fight Dominic Cruz.
I agree.
O'Malley to call him out, I think it's a good call out. I just don't think that the UFC, and I don't think Dom would take that fight. Be like, yeah, not really up my alley.
No, not at this point. I don't think that's
no. I think if Dom was supposed to fight somebody, can you pull up the rankings there? It would probably be somewhere in. I want to see the Frankie Edgar fight. Sorry, that's the fight that I want to see. I want to see Dom and Frankie Edgar.
Yeah. Well, either that or Dom and Jose Aldo.
Yeah, that's another one.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, that's another one. All right, what else you got for us?
Legend fights.
That's it for news.
That's it for news, huh? Man, you ruined the show. All right, guys. Well, hey, go to prowrestlingtees.com/weighing and use the promo code 100K and check out our plethora of shirts. If you guys use that promo code 100K, you guys will see all the cool designs that we have up there. We have a new one that's the black and white one that's been out for probably about a month now. We've got all the old school ones. My favorite one, honestly, is our original logo. I love that one, even though I'm very thankful for our new logo. But the OG is the OG, and you cannot be replaced. Sorry. It's the first one, and Obi's the first. There you go. See, it's right up there behind John. I love it. Yeah, use the promo code 100K. Also, please hit the subscribe button. When you guys hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up, that shares our videos out to everybody else. So that puts us above Ariel and DC and Chael and everybody else that has an MMA show. So we're trying to grow. Just remember, okay, I know there's a lot of gossip and stuff going on with Ariel and DC, and they've got these like fake belts that they bought on Kmart.com. Remember, they're the tag team champions, right? The tag team champions have nothing on the heavyweight world champions. We are the heavyweight world champions. We have the #1 belt. Tag teams, that's like usually for the smaller people that are like the B-level people. Okay, so we understand where they're at. We get it. They're not at our level. It's okay. They've got ESPN backing them, and they still can't get their microphones right. So just let's dial it down. I want everyone to understand. Every time they post something on Twitter or Instagram, I want you to put "and still" weighing in. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Weighing in and still, hashtag and still. Every time they post something, you guys go on there and say weighing in, tag us in it, and put and still. Okay, hashtag and still. We want to thank you guys for that. Hit that little bell off to the bottom right. That gives you the notifications of when we drop our shows. These Wednesday shows, we're playing with some times. Okay, guys, and we want to thank you guys for this weekend, man. This Sunday show was absolutely amazing. You guys killed it and crushed it. I think we did 130,000 views in 24 hours. That was amazing, and we want to thank you guys for that. You guys are helping us get to our number, so we appreciate you guys. John, what else you got?
I have the whole ending that I always do coming. I just don't know how to do it. So I'm just going to say, Joshua, see ya.